Hello students, myself Srimati Bhosle SS from MGS College Srigonda, and we are studying Standard 12 Chemistry Chapter number 9 Coordination Compounds. And in this lecture we will be covering the topic Theories of Bonding in Complexes, and in that we will be studying valence bond theory, that is VBT. So let's begin. Theories of bonding in complexes. Now bonding in complexes has been described by valence bond theory and crystal field theory. There are two theories which describes the bonding in the coordination complexes. The first theory is valence bond theory, and we will be studying this theory in this lecture. Now valence bond theory, it is based on the concept of hybridization. We know that the hybridization concept is, it is a theoretical concept, that is these hybrid orbitals, they neither exist nor can be detected spectroscopically, but they help us to determine the structure of the complexes. So let's study the steps which are involved and which are used to describe the bonding in complexes using VBT. So the first step is the metal ion provides its vacant d orbitals. S, p, d orbitals of metal take part in the hybridization. The second point is that the number of hybrid orbitals formed is equal to the number of ligands, and that is equal to the coordination number of the metal. The third step is that the vacant hybrid orbitals of a metal overlap with the filled orbitals of ligands to form metal ligand coordinate bond. The next point is hybrid orbitals of metal point in the direction of ligand, and hence they are directional in nature. The next point is the n-1d or nd orbitals are used for hybridization. So n-1d orbitals or nd orbitals of the metal are used for hybridization. If n-d orbitals are used, then the complex form is outer orbital complex, and if nd orbitals are used, then the complex form is called as inner orbital complex. Now let's see the steps which are used to write the metal ligand bonding in VBT, that is valence bond theory. The first step is find the oxidation state of the metal. The first step is to find the oxidation state of the metal in that complex. Second step is to write the valence shell electronic configuration of metal. Third step is to check if the complex is high spin or low spin. Fourth step is to find the number of ligands, and hence to find the number of metals required for hybridization. Then you have to decide the type of hybridization. Then the sixth step is to write the electronic configuration after hybridization. The next step is to show filling of orbitals after complex formation. And the last step is to determine the number of unpaired electrons and tell the magnetic behavior of the complex, or predict the magnetic behavior of the complex. Now, based on the type of hybridization, the structure of the complex can be given. So, if the coordination number is 2, that is, if the metal is bonded to 2 ligands, then the geometry is linear and hybridization is sp. If the coordination number of metal is 4, then the geometry can be tetrahedral or square planar. If the geometry is tetrahedral, hybridization is sp3, and dsp2 hybridization gives a square planar geometry to your complex. Now if the coordination number is 6, that is if the metal is attached to the 6 ligands, then the geometry is octahedral and the hybridization can be sp3d2 or d2sp3. So let's begin with the octahedral complexes. Now the example over here is the cobalt complex, that is CONH3, 6 ligands, ammonia and 3 plus. The complex is carrying the charge 3 plus, that it is a cationic complex, and it is a low spin complex. The first step is to write down the oxidation state of the metal. The oxidation state of cobalt in this complex is 3 plus. Electronic configuration of cobalt. Cobalt is having atomic number 27. So its electronic configuration can be written as argon 3d7 and 4s2. So electronic configuration of cobalt 3 plus, since the oxidation state of cobalt in this complex is 3 plus, so if cobalt loses 3 electrons, then the electronic configuration becomes Ar 3d6, 4s0 and 4p0. So the valence shell electronic configuration of cobalt 3 plus can be written as like this, where d orbital has 6 electrons and no electron in s orbital and p orbital. Now cobalt is attached to 6 ligands. So the number of metal ion required for hybridization is equal to 6. Now the complex is low spin, hence pairing will take place before the hybridization. In order that the metal has 6 metal provides 6 orbitals for the ligands, the metal has to uh, the pairing of electrons in the metal takes place before the hybridization. So the electronic configuration after pairing will be, now the two unpaired electrons which were there in this orbital, they are shifted over here. So there are all the electrons in the d orbital are paired now, and now the metal can provide 6 orbitals for hybridization. And those 6 orbitals are 2 orbitals of 3d, 1 of 4s and 3 of 4p. And it will, so d2 sp3 hybridization will take place, and after hybridization the ligand orbitals, the ligand electrons, that is the 6 ammonia electrons, will occupy these orbitals d2 sp3 hybrid orbitals, and this is the electronic configuration after the complex formation. Now the complex is octahedral, and we can see that all the electrons are paired after the complex. If we look at the electronic configuration of the complex, all the electrons are paired and the complex is diamagnetic. This is the structure of the cobalt complex. It is octahedral. The geometry is octahedral. Moving to the next example, we can show the metal ligand bonding in high spin complexes. Example is cobalt F6 with anionic complex having charge 3 minus. Now here same metal cobalt is having atomic number 27. So the complex is high spin, so pairing will not take place before hybridization. Since cobalt is attached to 6 ligands, so it should have 6 vacant orbitals to accommodate the electrons provided by the 6 fluorine ligands. So now the pairing will not take place because it is high spin complex. So the electrons in the 3d orbital will remain as it is, and the orbitals which will take part in hybridization will be 1 of 4s, 3 of 4p and 2 of 4d. So the hybridization that will take place will be sp3d2 hybridization. Now the 6 ligands of fluorine will provide electron pairs which will be accommodated in this orbitals. So electronic configuration after the complex formation will be this. These electrons are donated by the ligands, fluoride ligands. Now electronic configuration after the complex formation will be this, and we can see in the complex there are 3 unpaired electrons. Sorry, there are 4 unpaired electrons, and so the complex is paramagnetic, and the 6 ligands are there, and so the complex is octahedral in geometry. Octahedral in geometry. Complex is octahedral and paramagnetic, and the structure of complex is this. Moving to the next type of complex, that is tetrahedral complexes. Example is nickel attached to 4 chloride ligands and having the charge 2 minus. Oxidation state of nickel in this complex is +2. Electronic configuration of nickel is this, that is, we know the atomic number of nickel is 28. So electronic configuration of nickel can be written as argon 3d8 4s2. Now in this complex, nickel is having oxidation state +2, so it will lose 2 electrons. So now the electronic configuration of Ni2 plus becomes argon 3d8 4s0 4p0. So the valence shell electronic configuration of Ni2 plus can be written as like this, where d orbital has 2 unpaired electrons. Now nickel is attached to 4 ligands. So the number of orbitals required, the number of metal orbitals required will be 4. Since the complex is tetrahedral, hence pairing will not take place before hybridization. In tetrahedral complexes, pairing do not take place. So the pairing of electrons will not take place. So the 4 orbitals which will take part in hybridization are 1 4s and 3 p orbitals, that is 3 4p orbitals. So total 4 orbitals, that is sp3 hybridization will take place. And after sp3 hybridization, the electrons from the ligands will occupy this orbitals, 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals. So the electronic configuration after the complex formation can be written as this, in like this way. These are the electrons which are donated by the ligands. Since the complex has 2 unpaired electrons, the complex is paramagnetic and the structural is tetrahedral. So this is the structure of this nickel complex. Moving to the next type, that is the square planar complexes. Again the example is that of nickel, that is nickel Cn, that is cyanide, 4 ligands are attached and the charge of over the complex is 2 minus. Let's write down the oxidation state of nickel. It is +2. Electronic configuration, atomic number of nickel is 28, so it can be written as argon 3d8 4s2. Nickel is in the +2 oxidation state, so it will lose 2 electrons, and now the electronic configuration of Ni2 plus can be written as argon 3d8 4s0 4p0. So the valence shell electronic configuration of Ni2 plus is this, where your d orbital, 3d orbital has 2 unpaired electrons. Now the number of ligands in this complex is 4. So the number of metal orbitals required is 4. Now complex is square planar, hence pairing will take place before the hybridization. So these 2 electrons will get paired up, and now the electronic configuration will be, the 4 orbitals which will be used are, that is here this pairing will take place, and the 4 orbitals which the metal will provide will be 1 of 3d, 1 of 4s and 2 of 4p. So the 4 orbitals used are 1 3d, 1 4s and 2 4p, that is dsp2 hybridization will take place. dsp2 hybridization will take place, and in these 4 orbitals, dsp2 hybrid orbitals, the 4 electron pairs donated by the 4 ligands will be placed. Now the complex, if we see the electronic configuration of the complex, it has no unpaired electron, hence the complex is diamagnetic and it is having 4 ligands, so it is square planar in nature. So this is the structure, or this is the geometry of the nickel cyanide complex. So with this we come to the end of this lecture. Thank you.